Yaoguai, the Taiwanese term for strange monster. For many years, folklore has written both amazing and terrifying stories about these creatures. Many can be seen as demons, while others can also be seen as fairies or other mystical beings. It's even said that some of these Yaoguai were revered as gods, with each one of them gaining high amounts of followers. To this day, many people still believe in the Yaoguai and even still worship them in hopes of satiating their hunger and granting them protection. Also, apparently they're all gay buff furries. Taiwanese legends, a genre of history so damn deep that it would take hours to explain every single thing in a good amount of detail for our American brains to understand. Truth be told, I'm someone who has always been interested in different cultures and legends ever since I was a little kid. I believe it could have been due to the fact that American history was shoved down my throat so much that I just got tired of hearing the same events over and over again. Regardless, many people in the world clamor for different forms of world history, with each country and continent having their own deep legends and stories. Some of these legends even spark inspiration for movies, comics, music, and say it with me everyone, video games. Today, we're talking about a game that takes direct inspiration from the legend found in Taiwanese culture, that being the Yaoguai. So, does that mean that we're gonna get a game like Ghostwire Tokyo where we have to save everyone from evil spirits? Oh, or maybe a game where we have to protect some Yaoguai from a greater threat, kinda like Yokai Watch. Nah, Chief. No, we're gonna fuck them instead. Today's game is known as Nekojishi, a yaoi visual novel dating sim created by Studio Klondike. This game blends in the Taiwanese culture of Yaoguai, which roughly translates to monster or strange creature. According to my research, some Yaoguai even are able to transcend into godhood if they have enough people who are willing to worship them, and some gods can even be demoted as Yaoguai for transgressions against heaven. Of course, this is just a general definition, so if this interests you at all, I'd highly suggest taking a deeper dive into the subject and do some more research just in case I may have missed anything important. Nowadays, due to a nice little thing called, furries, we have a whole lot of people that desire to delve into the fantasy of having back-breaking naughties with these creatures, and thus, Nekojishi was born. Now, I had never heard of this game before, but it wasn't until my good bud writer Crystal Rose told me about the game and suggested that I review it.
Play the furry game, you simp! Play it, or I swear I will have them to cut up the balls right off your...
Suggested. So I downloaded this absolutely free game and grabbed myself a nice bowl of hamburger steak. What did I think about this game? Well, we might as well look into this bad boy, otherwise, writer may actually sodomize me. If you're watching this, writer Crystal Rose the First, put the spatula down, I'm reviewing the game already! God damn, fucking... already in pain for the last time. Okay, story time! Let's get into it, shall we? You play as our protagonist Tian Liao Lin, a college student at National Qingqi University, where he's taking dance classes as his major. This has been his dream for many years, so much so that he decided to leave his hometown to take up his job choice in the future. A commendable thing to do at the end of the day, I guess. One day, he finds himself heading back to his apartment after a long day of college work, only to be met with a giant tiger man. Damn, okay, no foreplay or nothing, we just going in raw, alright, sure, great, Alright, time for some exposition. This tiger man is a creature known as a guardian tiger. This guy serves under the goddess Mazu as one of the bodyguards of the Lin family. Thing is, the Lin family has been known for their connections with spirits, even to the point of taking care of a shrine dedicated to these said spirits. Our boy Liao here is one of the only people who can see these spirits, also known as Yaguai. So he's kind of a special dude, which is why our boy Tiger wants him to go back to his hometown. Thing is, Liao doesn't want to do that, which we'll get into later. Alright, so we now know exactly who the secondary protagonist is. This'll be cake, just gotta be there for this guy and cater to him to get the true ending. I've played enough games like this before, fuck, there's 2 of them. So, doing their first exposition dump, a knock is heard at the door. To his surprise, it's another giant anthro buff cat. This guy is Liku Lau, who is actually a clouded leopard from the Rukai. This dude is in search of someone who can communicate and talk to spirits, thus allowing him to help his people by becoming an oracle. Thus, he's here to make that happen. It's also apparently stated that he was the one who awakened his third eye, which kinda isn't a spoiler due to him revealing that in the first moment that they met. Okay, interesting. So we now have 2 dudes who we can romance and make out with. Gotcha. Alright, that's like a couple of extra endings there. No worries on that front. Adding a second person isn't so bad. A third one? Alright, so third cat pops in. This one definitely being a bit smaller than the rest. This guy's a special case, mostly because there's a bit more tension where this is concerned. You see, this guy is a leopard cat who is possessing Liao's senpai named Shu-Chi Yan. He's been hanging around Liao for some time now, trying to get buddy-buddy with him so that he can get him to help restore his temple. He's lost a lot of followers recently, which is making him weaker, and thus needs Liao to assist. And he has no problems getting flirty and handsy to do it, even to the point of making Tiger and Liku both a bit cautious about him. Well, mostly Tiger is. So, now you see the plot thickens. You have 3 dudes who all need Liao, whereas he wants to live his life his own way and without being pushed or pulled into anything. Yet at the same time, he wants to help out as best as he can. This becomes a key factor in the game's story, as well as a little bit of a possible learned lesson that can be seen by the player. Of course, we'll talk about all of that later. So, we've got the story situated and understood. We'll get to the endings, of which there are 12 of them, but let's get into the gameplay. This is a visual novel game with some light dating sim mechanics, mostly with how you get closer to each character that you may choose. You have many moments where you can make a decision that may be more in one character's favor than the others, which can sometimes be a detriment to whatever person you want to get closer to. Oh, and there are plenty of these moments. Hell, even to the point of me needing to write everything down in order to remember them. That's generally all you'll be doing in this game, which is just watching the story unfold, making a necessary choice, and then dealing with whatever consequences that may occur from said choice. A simple gameplay style. Fortunately though, I can say throughout all of this game, there was not a single glitch that I ran into, even when I was using the skip feature to get to new sections that I didn't see. The game even automatically turns off the skip function when you're at a scene or dialogue that you haven't noticed yet. That may not seem like much, but to a person that's into the story, it can be a huge time saver, while also being a helpful thing to allow players to never miss an important sequence. You also have these moments where this little symbol pops up on the dialogue box. This means that an important phrase or word has appeared, and if you open up the glossary, you can see what the word means and delve deeper into the legends and terminology of the Taiwanese phrases. This is honestly a great addition, especially for people who are interested in different cultures and legends. It's apparent that the developers were also looking to educate players in this game with something that wasn't as intrusive as just explaining it during the game like it's a World Girl episode. Note, I actually love this show. I was just using it as a reference. Do not come at me in the comments, please. It's not something that the player needs to interact with, but it's also something that adds a neat little thing with it around as well. Props to the developers for this one. Y'all already know the drill for this part. We're getting into spoiler territory, so if you want to try out this game for yourself, then skip to this part right here. I say, alright, let's go. So, we later get more context and a deeper understanding of each character. For example, Shu-Chi Yan is not exactly living the best life out there due to how overbearing his parents are. To make matters worse, it gets to the point where he's forced to leave Liao's apartment and stay locked up in his home. To which you can check up on him to see if he is safe. Dude's life ain't exactly the greatest, due to his folks, kinda being a bit misogynist and homophobic, at least that's what I can gather. Yeah, they're not good people. And that's not even all of it. If he doesn't get his shrine fixed up and followers to follow him soon, he would be so weak that other rogue Yaguai could potentially eat him. So he's basically fighting for his life here. Liku Lao is a very determined and a tenacious individual who has no problem getting his hands dirty if things demand it, even to the point of attacking Tiger in order to get to Liao, which usually ends with him getting injured pretty badly. Bro even has the ability to teleport using essentially spirit points, which helps him get from place to place super uber quickly. Oh yeah, and Tiger's kind of just Tiger. He's the most upfront out of all of them, honestly. Now, this game, as stated before, has 12 endings, each one ranging from terrible, to sad, to bittersweet, to hopeful, and even to fucking dying. And as of this point, the ending we'll be going in depth with is the true ending. But for those curious, here's what happens in the other 11 endings. Ending 1+2, after getting attacked by Liku, Tiger, and Liao go to the higher-ups, being the actual gods, to help with dealing with Liku's constant harassing. You have the choice to either forgive Liku or not. Ending 1 is you forgive him and tell him to leave, and so he does. And ending 2 is you not forgiving him, and then Tiger and Liku fight. Liku loses. Ending 3, you decide not to go to the higher-ups, and Liku shows up at your place. He and Tiger fight, and he destroys the statue, which is essentially Tiger's lifeline, meaning he's now dead, and then Liku then kills Liao. Ending 4, you and Shi-Chu have a date for the last time. Then it starts to rain, and unbeknownst to Liao, a car comes and runs him over. Bro dies, I think. Ending 5, 6, and 7, you get closer to Liku and he decides to kidnap you and hold you hostage in a cave after he attacks Tiger and destroys the statue. This one is another one of those endings that can branch off into 3 depending on what your final choices are. In ending 5, you run away as soon as you can, find civilization, and they help you get back home. Liku doesn't follow you and instead just lets you go home. Ending 6, Tiger disrupts the spirit paths thanks to the higher-ups' help. You leave to go home, and you realize that technically, a friend of his can be the new Oracle, since he has that same Rukai blood. You can either tell Liku or not. Ending 6, you tell him, and he takes you back home to help with Tiger's statue, and gets his friend to be the Oracle. Ending 7, you don't, and that's that. Oh, and you also are kind of dating Liku in ending 6. Ending 8, you and Shu-Chi are on a date and you get ran over again. This time, it's a sunny day out. Ending 9, so this is where the canon stuff starts to kick in. Liku ends up doing his usual stick, trying to get Liao by any means necessary. But Tiger and Liao have an idea. You see, due to Liao being able to connect and communicate with spirits so deeply, he can do something that basically gives him and his spirit a strong power boost and strength and such. To do this, they need to feel connected with each other, and thus, they have to kiss and hold each other. Okay, there's the alley, folks! The two do so, where the screen mysteriously fades to black, by the way, and the two ends up doing a fusion ha to stop and defeat Liku before he can do anything. He retreats, they defuse, and Liao and Tiger have an argument right after because Liao wants a relationship with Tiger, but he doesn't want to do that because it can be seen as forbidden. Kinda out of left field, but okay. He slips back into a statue for a while, weeks pass, Liao is worse for wear, and they end up meeting again to become a couple. They also take a bath together. Roll credits.
Why the fuck is there so many?
Ending 10! It's basically the same as ending 9 except for the fact that Liao goes back to his hometown to help with his family temple and teaches others about their heritage and the like. Simple and clean. Ending 11! We're skipping this one. This gives spoilers for the true ending. Alright, now time to talk about the true ending. So basically, everything that happened during ending 9 goes on, except for the fact that we begin to interrogate Liku first. He tells us that Shu-Chi was talking about stuff on the sly, making him feel as if he had to be more forceful, because there was no other way. We also find out that the body that he was possessing, being Shu-Chi's body, is actually dead. Shu-Chi has been dead this entire time, and his soul was eaten by the snow leopard that was taking control of him. He is an evil spirit! Thing is, we don't know where he is right now, and Liku's abilities are too weak to find him by himself. So, we have to fuse with him as well. That means making out, cuddling, and then fusing, again with the screen going black as well. Afterwards, we find him, and he's dressed in this feminine outfit, which lets you know this guy is a total bottom, and then we make a decision to get him to show up at Liao's place. It seems like we're going to kill him to avenge his senpai, but Liao at least wants to know why. Snow states that he doesn't have a reason other than the fact that he wants to do bad things because he's a Yaguai. Comes out later that he was slowly eating stronger Yaguai in order to survive. In truth, he has a survivor's mindset in the most animalistic way. He needs to survive through eating souls, so he had his size set on Liao. Thus, he took control of Shu Qi and decided to attack when he had the chance. Thing is, Liku ended up awakening his ability to see spirits, so that kind of put a wrench in his plans. At the end of it all, he forgives him, and just before Snow is going to attack, Tiger and Liao fuse, and they kiss him, and then the screen goes black. Something screwy here. So he gives him his chi, and then Snow has a change of heart. So now, he lives on a Shu Qi, and everything kind of goes back to normal. Shu Qi and Liao start dating, Liku and Tiger hang around him, he convinces his Rukai friend to be the new Oracle, and everyone is basically just living together. That's the end of the game. Oh yeah, and Snow is a god now. So this basically ends the story of Liao and his Fiendlight buff companions. No, I did not play the DLC, it is basically an extra epilogue to the game. So, a pretty decent story. This game mostly tackles the subject of consequences and pressures one can face with deciding important life choices within your life. We can mostly see that through the true ending, where he isn't sure at first, but later on, he starts to make his own decisions and isn't too swayed by others, especially where dealing with Snow is concerned. That is something that many can relate to, especially college students and young adults. The game's story is fairly decent, with it having a good amount of time for the player to get invested without having to sit around for hours and hours on it. Granted, to some, the story may seem to be a bit of an oddball one due to how the character can be a little too indecisive in the beginning, but I feel it was necessary for the actual growth of the character to take center stage. This was a pretty good story, all in all. Now then, what did I think about this game? Well, for starters, the game has an amazing art style and pretty good quality, especially with it being a free game that anyone can download. There are a lot of free and even paid games that aren't even close to this kind of quality for a visual novel, so having this to download at a moment's notice is pretty amazing. The music is also not bad at all too. Some may sound like stock music, but the main themes are pretty good with some bops that can get you swaying a little bit. And the way that the game tells the legend and story of Yaguai is a unique one as well, which definitely allows this to shine. Thing is, I feel like something is missing. Something that wasn't told to me about this game when I downloaded it. I wonder what it is. Alright, so the elephant in the room. If anyone actually bothers to look at all the info in the description, you guys can probably see that it states there is sexual content within this game. Now, throughout my entire playthrough, there was mainly suggestive scenes, but no straight up sex could be witnessed or was even really mentioned. That confused me, so I did a little digging on some forums and I realized something that shocked me. The version we're playing is not the most recent version. There is actually another version of this game called the Limited Edition version. This version basically takes all those scenes where it was a complete black screen and adds yaoi naughties in there. No, I will not be showing these scenes. This version was a non-canon 18+ bonus patch that was originally developed due to a crowdfunding of the game. Back in March of 2020 though, they reviewed the content of the limited edition, and they kind of removed the limited edition from distribution, so nobody can actually get it. Well, unless you go and you download the file, and then you just drag and drop the file into the game's main file, and bam, you can play it. Just click the little toggle here to actually make it happen. So, yeah, I guess that's why it's NSFW, technically. Though at the same time, I really don't see how you could call it sexual content when there's no sexual content in the game anyway. I replayed the true ending, and yeah, now instead of just kissing in these scenes, they have full-on back-breaking naughties. I don't know how to feel about this one, man. Like, the art is great and all, but oh boy! That's all I'm gonna say here. God damn it, writer. Nekojishi is a fairly enjoyable game with a huge influence from Taiwanese cultures and legends. It's nice to see another one that takes the teachings and molds it into something both educational in some cases and enjoyable as a whole. The game has pretty good artwork, the story is an engaging one, and if you're into a bunch of buff anthro cats, then I guess this one is the perfect game for you. It's not a bad game, and with there being a sequel to the game as well, with more mechanics, full-on 3D models, a console version, and even full English voice acting, there's no better time to try out this game than now. Try it out! Perhaps you'll enjoy it. Besides, it's a free game, so what do you have to lose? Alright, I think that should about do it. Still, that reminds me, I gotta make sure that I ask Ryder something very important. It's been bugging me for a while, and I feel like now is probably the best time to ask.
Hey, Zach.
Did you know about the limited patch?